everyone. Thank you for tuning in to my first podcast episode. This is my first guest, Joel. So, Joel is a very special person in my life. I actually met him a couple months ago on a farm when I was debating if I wanted to live on a farm, Sweetwater's organic farm here in Tampa. And I was sitting there listening to music while Joel was also sitting there next to me, and he threw a baseball at me, and a friendship blossomed, and here we are now. We ended up having a great afternoon, and he shared with me a lot of his wisdom. Joel Chudnow, he is a holistic health coach, has been teaching for more than 30 years, has done several talk shows and radio shows, and really lives his life in an inspiring way, which I've had the honor of meeting him and learning from him. So I really did want him to be my first guest on this podcast to share his message and inspire. I think a lot of people in my generation can learn a lot from him. So that is why I wanted you to be my first guest. So thank you so much for coming. And the floor is yours.
Thank you for inviting me, Zoe. I like the rhyme of Boomer and Zoomer radio, or Zoomer and Boomer.
Zoomer.
A Zoomer and a Boomer.
Yes.
Zoe the Zoomer, Joel the Boomer, and it's a joy and a pleasure to be here and at your invitation. I'm happy to share my experiences because it can be significant information for people seeking to be well. I got very sick 37 years ago, and with acute symptoms of psoriasis and arthritis, and I was very scared. And I realized that I didn't want to take any drugs. So, having gone to my rheumatologist and basically firing him because he was offering me drugs and no other support, I found a teacher teaching courses on healthcare alternatives. And that was the real beginning of a new life for me, actually. I was in advertising, chasing a dollar, and now I had a serious health challenge that I needed to learn how to reduce the symptoms, if not healing it, at least reduce the symptoms enough to be functional, to be able to work. I was really concerned that about that possibility. So I took these classes every 2 nights a week for a year. I got tired sometimes, and it didn't matter. My car ended up going to class because I needed it. And I was meeting classmates who became good friends of mine. The teacher was giving information on natural hygiene, which is what I teach today, natural hygiene and wellness lifestyles. That's really the key. And I make lifestyles plural because each of you are individual and have your own special needs and likes and dislikes and habits and idiosyncrasies. And it all goes into the whole person. I began teaching. Well, I recovered from my symptoms. I worked very hard, like a Spartan, training for an Olympic Games, and gave up a lot of my standard American diet that my family had taught me, salt, sugar, and fat, saturated fat, and I just gave that up. For a whole year, I did not eat. I did not eat a piece of fruit because I felt as though I had an overgrowth of yeast, Candida albicans, in my system systemically. So in that year, I made great strides. I made great improvement. But it didn't end there. I kept asking in my prayers, in my continuing to work, what else do I need? I'm working on the physical, the mental, the emotional. What else do I need? And I kept asking and asking, and finally it came to me, Spirit. I found a teacher giving workshops in Clearwater, and I went to those workshops and I stayed with that teacher for a year or more, with classes, with meetings, regular weekly meetings and meditations. He was a teacher of meditation from Bengal, India, Sri Chinmoy, Srichin, like in Nancy, M like in Mary, O-Y. And he inspired me. He devoted his life to teaching the God-given right for everyone to meditate and find their real inner child, their true self, their essence or their soul. And so I practiced. It took me 5 months to clear the 100 monkeys between my ears. You know, thoughts came jumbling every time I tried to meditate. I'd meditate 2 days, 3 days, and couldn't do it consistently. But when I did, that's really when my life started changing. On July 18th, 1990, I started counting all the days that I sat meditating first thing in the morning, waking up, throwing water on my face, and sitting at my prayer table, my meditation table, with a lit candle and music and inspirational literature. And he wrote many books and poems and plays. He was an artist, an athlete. His athleticism really caught my attention. And so I stayed with it. I stayed with it for a year or more with the classes, but Sri Chinmoy is still my teacher today. And I've been meditating 13,100 plus days, still counting, since July 18th, 1990. And it's been an exciting adventure because I've never, growing up in a kosher Jewish household, I never had a relationship with God as I do through meditation. And he's with me all the time. So the teacher that was teaching the courses I was taking moved away after teaching for only 5 years and gave up teaching those courses. But she said, Joel, why don't you teach it? There's nobody that knows it better than you. And having a fear of public speaking, I wasn't interested at all. I was quite frightened at the thought of standing in front of people and talking. Being a shy kind of guy, I used to be anyway. And but anyway, I took the challenge nervously, very nervously, and within 3 months, realizing that how sick I was and how I got well. Let me back up a little bit, because in the process of meditation, when I finally started counting, I counted up to the 51st day, 51 days. And I had what Christians might call an epiphany. It was like a, right at the meditation table. And I said, oh, that felt good. I love that feeling. And within a day of that experience, all the edema and all the pain in my arthritic joints from my feet to my TMJ were gone and never returned. I played tennis with a student of mine after I started teaching, and I'll get into my teaching, for an hour, and had no pain before, during, or after. We volleyed for an hour. All I had was a blister on my thumb from squeezing the tennis racket. But I stood there on the court after that hour and I said, well, there may not be a cure for arthritis, but I suppressed the symptoms enough to be able to play this 1 hour of tennis and be able to work, and as I have in advertising, and earn money. Well, I took the challenge of teaching. She handed me the materials, and I was very nervous to begin with, and I called her after the first class and I said, I can't do this. I can't do this like you do this. She says, that's okay. Do it like you do it. And that really clicked, because that's been my perspective all these 37 years. I present information as a student, not so much as a teacher, and as a kind of a guide, a coach, a support system to make suggestions of what you can do and what's available in alternative healing that can help you improve your health and reverse disease and maybe get off drugs. Some people take as many as 10 or 12 or more drugs, which are all toxic. So that's certainly allopathic's realm, allopathic conventional medicine, but I prefer the empirical medicine. The empirical medicine is the folk remedies handed down for thousands of years, and the study, China, Chinese, India, Native Americans, South Americans, healing practitioners with great wisdom and great knowledge, and just exciting to learn how they apply the simple verdant recipe of what this planet offers. Are weeds really weeds, or are they nutrition and therapy? And I've discovered that quite often what most people think of weeds, Native Americans or people from the Orient have identified them as therapeutic and ways to prepare them for your health. It's been a wonderful, exciting adventure. So, 23 years teaching in a classroom at Hillsborough Community College, and 37 total since I started studying and teaching. My daughters, both masters in theater arts, they performed at the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center. It was a great privilege, a great honor and joy for me to see them perform. The oldest performed in 5 shows there, and the youngest brought a traveling show that she wrote and produced and acted in a one-woman show. Andrea Caban, she she and my daughter Sharon said, Dad, why don't you write a book about your experiences? I said, I don't want to write a book. I don't want a book to get dusty on people's shelves because they just don't read it and don't use it as a functional guide. So I just said my book is my classroom, or anybody that will invite me into their home to talk about health with them and to coach them. So as I started teaching, my income in advertising started declining because I was devoting so much time to helping students and teaching that I developed a service as a wellness coach, a natural lifestyle counselor, and that would be a 3-hour visit in their home, and I would see how they live, who they live with, their pets, what's in the refrigerator, what's in the cupboard, what's on their health bookshelf, and I learned more about them in 3 hours than any doctor would learn in 10 years of 10 or 15-minute visits. Mm-hmm. And those experiences were rich and right on the tip of my tongue. Just ask me. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the reason for taking up the class is that I recovered using natural therapies, and I thought other people can learn this, and because I was losing so much time in advertising and losing income, I was devoted to classmates, students, clients who were challenged as I was, or similarly, and needed help outside allopathic medicine. Some people would tell me they've gone to 12 doctors and couldn't get help. And they said, "You're my last chance." And so I started teaching Healthcare Alternatives 1 as 6 classes, theories of disease causation, the electrical nature of the body, chemical nutritional factors, the role of thought in disease causation and disease prevention, and treating the whole person, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. We're all 4 of those parts. And the goal with students and with clients is to help them understand where they need to balance those 4. You know, some people could be strong in a spiritual life, but lacking in their food choices or their lifestyle. And so I was able to show them where the imbalances, the excesses, deficiencies, the addictions, and to try to gradually, one day at a time, just step by step, helping them through with me. After the visit, I did a follow-up report and offered a follow-up visit if they chose, but they were connected to me for life by the telephone. If you're in a health food store shopping and you don't know which grain to buy, which vegetable is best for you in this situation, call me. We'll talk. I've offered health food store tours because everything in a health food store is not healthy. And so you have to be careful and choose wisely while you're on your path to wellness. It's not all or nothing. I give students an option to have a screw-up moment. If you want to go to the old ways, do it on Friday afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m. And then eat anything you want, any of the old foods. In time, and then right afterwards get back on track, on a plan for wellness. And invariably, their addiction or taste for the junk food was waning because they got so much energy and nourishment from living foods, green, verdant foods, that this is a leaf off our tree. But I have a teacher, Bernard Jensen, said, when you're green inside, you're clean inside.
Mm.
So if you're drinking green smoothies, green extracted vegetable juices with carrots and celery, parsley, spinach, kale, you're starting to clean up your blood. And as you clean up your blood, every other organ system will benefit. The blood, the molecule of blood, in the center of it, in the nucleus, is iron. In the molecule of chlorophyll in every green food that you consume, including avocados, the molecule of chlorophyll is magnesium. Other than that, they're identical. So as you consume green foods, you build blood because it converts to blood. And what are the benefits, you ask, Zoe? The benefits are better sleep, better rest at night, energy in the morning, a greater enthusiasm for life, adopting a lifestyle that works for so many already. You know, when I started classroom teaching in '93, I taught 23 years, it was pretty much at the beginning of people wanting to be well, actively taking responsibility for their health. And as the years progressed, these 37 years, more and more people are coming to wanting to be well. So many more need to be well. And you can see it in the habits of people, in the rise in the number one killer is cardiovascular disease and heart disease and strokes. Number two is cancer. There's an epidemic of diabetes, arthritis, osteo, etc., and a multiplicity of chronic diseases where they say the immune system is attacking itself, which is, to my way of thinking, very silly. The immune system isn't working; it's malfunctioning, and you gotta figure out what your physiology needs to function optimally. The goal is optimal balance, and once you find that balance, the whole world looks brighter and more beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Joel. Thank you for dropping all of the wisdom on us.
Responsibility, Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I teach. I give people information, and it's up to them. I don't go home with them. They don't come home with me. They don't live with me in my therapeutic living space, sometimes known as a laboratory for health and wellness and natural hygiene. It's responsibility. Everyone is responsible for themselves, and so many of us have given up our health to medical doctors and the allopathic medicine with treating the symptoms and not getting to the cause. And it's people on my side of the fence, the naturopaths, the natural doctors, the integrative doctors, the functional doctors, that say, what's the cause of this? Is it mental, emotional, physical, spiritual? What's the cause? And they keep asking, and I keep asking, and helping my clients, let's get to the root cause. Once we get that, then we can set goals, taking baby steps or giant steps. Whatever you're willing to do, I'm with you. And so that's been what I've been doing for 37 years, and I just love people, and I love helping people realize that there's a better way. There's another way to look in the mirror, another way to wake up in the morning, another way to go to bed at night, and a better way.
I do have a couple questions for you. Actually, what I wanted to point out, something I really like that you said, was how some people might be just lacking in certain areas of like the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical, that it is all a holistic, we're whole beings, and these all are factors that can affect our health and how we feel on the day-to-day. So I think that is nice that you noted that sometimes it can be discouraging, for example, like, say you eat well all week and then have a weekend of, being unproductive or just lazy about food, for example, and you kind of feel like you're falling off track. It's just nice. It's a good reminder that it is the lifestyle in general. So to not be discouraged, and then to, again, wake up the next morning and still take that responsibility of, putting one foot again in front of the other and continuing on the journey. So that's just really important to note.
You got to be willing.
Yeah.
Each person has to be willing to do it, to commit to changing their lifestyle.
Right.
I did it because of extreme acute symptoms of disease, and I looked at every aspect of my life up to that point and changed almost everything. I lost friends in one area, and I gained friends in another area. Family members would tell me, "Joel, why don't you go to a doctor?" I said, "My doctors are on on my bookshelf. I don't need a doctor. I'm studying this. And in the classes I'm taking, I didn't go back to that doctor. I was averse to taking any drugs. I grew up with parents who didn't like taking the magic pill for every ill, and I certainly wanted to avoid it as well."
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people in my generation who are going to be watching this. So I did just want to ask if you had a piece of advice to give to them, a piece of advice, or just maybe something that you would recommend someone starts their morning with if they are trying to better themselves and get into a healthier lifestyle. Either a piece of advice or something that you would recommend for them to do each and every morning to kind of start.
Good question, and that's an easy one for me, because the greatest gift you can give yourself is the gift of 5 minutes of meditation every morning. You can find a spiritual teacher who does not charge for meditation because they believe it's a God-given gift for everyone to learn, and they don't charge for it. They may charge for books or classes, but for the meditation practice, teaching of meditation, they do not charge. And And so it was with Sri Chinmoy. He wrote 1,400 books. He was an artist, a poet, an athlete. And he traveled the world and met dignitaries, country leaders all over the world, and was greatly respected. You could read about Sri Chinmoy. He's passed on, but you can read about him and adopt him as your teacher if you choose. But if you can find a living teacher, a realized master of meditation, who offers a meditation meeting at least once a week, not once every other week, not once a month, not when you feel like it, once every week, and commit to going to that. But to wake up in the morning is to sit quietly with inspirational literature, uplifting aphorisms, positive feedback. Start building with all the positive things you can. First thing in the morning. That 5 minutes may grow to 10 or 20 or whatever, however long you choose. But at least 5 minutes when you wake. When you wake, it's between the theta and delta brainwave level. Like you're half awake and half asleep. You're still kind of getting charged, but you don't go thinking about what you have to do. You don't go to your iPad, your computer, your cell phone. You just sit at a special place you create in your living space. Sit at that chair, sit at that place for 5 minutes after waking. And you can pray. My teacher says when I pray, I talk to God. When I meditate and listen with my heart, God talks to me. And so it's that relationship you want to build from here, from the heart. The mind very quite often confuses. As I mentioned, 100 monkeys for 5 months until I sat every morning, finally committing and dedicating to the practice. And you may not feel a difference in 51 days as I did. That was extraordinary. And I've had other instances where I felt that way in a meditation. And so it's a continual progress. And I mentioned 13,100 days, more than that. It's not that that's any great significance, but the importance of that was that I was simply counting one day at a time. You know, yesterday's gone, Zoe. We don't have yesterday. And tomorrow is not here yet either. It's now. My last name is Chud Now. And that reminds me that I live in the now, right now, here and now. And magic moments. Like this magic moment right here with Zoe the Zoomer and Joel the Boomer.
Yes. yes. And I remember another thing you mentioned when we were hanging out the first time was love and gratitude. That's something in the meditations, and this is something I wanted to ask you. In those two really powerful words, sometimes when life kind of can come at you with anxiety and depression and feelings of those things, and it can be hard to see the light and to feel that love and gratitude. What advice do you have for people that maybe are struggling with remembering to be grateful and to feel that love and gratitude?
That's another easy one.
Mm-hmm.
And in your meditation, take a deep belly breath, breathe at the belly, diaphragmatic breathing, right at the rib cage, bottom of the rib cage. And get the air down there and breathe slowly. When you breathe in those two magic words, love and gratitude. With each inhaling breath, love and gratitude. When you breathe out, stress, depression, anxiety, these are negative thoughts and have little value in a healthy life. So these two words are critical, and you can in addition to saying these words, you might do what I did. I felt as though my dis-ease, my discomfort, my symptoms were, in a sense, putting me in the dark. The rheumatologist, the medical doctor I said goodbye to, he didn't give me any light, any hope. He only wanted to give me non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and I didn't take them. And as I've studied, I'm glad I didn't. Excuse me. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if I had. But I kept asking for more light. I needed more light from the universe, from beyond the furthest star. I needed more light, and I kept asking for it. And that 51st day, that light arrived right here. It had nothing to do with here. It was a simple practice of focusing on love and gratitude and more light. So I hope that's helpful. Suggestions, you don't have to do them. It's a free country. But if you try it, the old college try, no, just do it. Mm-hmm. Just do it every day. And you got to be patient, and I'm patient. I'll loan you my patience if you need it. Mm-hmm. But mm-hmm. You can do this if you're willing to be patient, and for whatever happens. I can't tell you what you will experience because you yourself are individual. There's no other Zoe in the world. You have to walk down that path. Now, there's many paths to the goal of meditation and getting to this. And this isn't the only one, but this is one that I recommend. Mm-hmm. Stay with the teacher for a year. Stay with that teacher for a year. If after a year, make an evaluation of where you are in the practice, and if the teacher continues to please you, stay with the teacher. Or say goodbye and find another teacher, and that may be right for you. That's critical in my teaching, in my counseling, in-home counseling. And I have 4 years into teaching, my supervisor at Hillsborough Community College called me and said, Joel, the school has a radio station. Why don't you call the director, the audiovisual teacher, and see if he's got a spot for you. Okay. That morning, I called Bill Greco, and I told him what I do, and I was referred by my supervisor, and he says, if you can get to the studio by noon, I'll get you on the air. Okay, I showed up, and he says, people don't like to talk about this health issue too much. I'll give you 15 minutes. Okay. We started talking like this, and Bill Greco didn't give me 15 minutes. His curiosity was so piqued. He was asking me question after question, and an hour and 15 minutes later, we got off the air. And he says, would you like to do a show? I says, yeah, how about Monday and Wednesdays at noon to 1? He says, okay.
Oh, that's perfect.
And
That's valuable.
I started inviting all the people that I used and knew of who practice natural healing. No drugs, chemo, radiation, surgery, natural herbs, herbologists, herbalists, acupuncture physicians, doctors of Oriental medicine, integrative doctors, medical doctors that integrate medicine, the best of allopathy and the best of natural, and functional medicine, all out of pocket, very expensive testing, but can be very effective for a lot of people who can afford that route of tests. I have tried throughout my teaching experience and my radio shows, I've tried to find the least expensive ways to help one another, to help each other, to help yourself. And one aspect of healing is energy medicine. I've gravitated to this very early in my teaching, and I'm amazed at how people can improve so quickly using the energetics of our physiology and the energetics of food, of verdant green foods. And let me give you an example. I had a teacher I invited, in addition to Healthcare Alternatives 1, I taught Healthcare Alternatives 2, the speaker series. And I would invite in a 3-hour, each of 6 3-hour classes, 2 teachers, 2 practitioners of wellness, chiropractor, acupuncture, herbalist, theologians sometimes. And this one gal was a Rolfer and postural integration technique. And she invited a young man as a volunteer to come up to the head of the class and face the class. He was 6'4", strong as a big, strong, hulking guy. And she used kinesiology, muscle testing. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Zoe, but it's a form of identifying your energy and asking your own body questions and getting answers, sometimes immediately, of what's good and what's not good.
Mm-hmm.
So she tested him to see if he could be tested. And testing kinesiology, put his arm out, and she would press down on it. So he was testable, and so he was strong. She then took a 1-ounce packet of sugar that you find at the coffee house and put it on the floor right next to his shoe, right next to his foot. She did nothing else. He did nothing else. He just stood there. And that sugar, and then she tested after the sugar was placed, and he could not hold his arm up. He was weak. because of that energy of refined white sugar in close proximity to his physiology.
So how did that like mean so he didn't have energy after the sugar was there?
No, oh, she took the sugar away, and then she up the back of her spine, she massaged up above the spine, and raised the energy and tested him again. He was strong.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was the
So
only difference. That was a good
interesting.
question.
Very
That was the only
interesting.
difference. So it's a subtle energies that so many more. Homeopathy are little pellets of energy that animals respond to quickly when they're sick, but humans may or may not respond so quickly. But getting the right remedy, there's 3,000 plus remedies in homeopathy that is used, and it was developed by Dr. Hahnemann in Philadelphia in the early 1800s. And he was chastised for the work, but it persisted. And when allopathic medicine took real control of the medical schools in 1935, they fathered in homeopathy because so many schools like Stanford, University of Penn were homeopathic medical schools. And the money people, Rockefellers and so forth, converted them to allopathy and treatment, symptom treatment, and not wanting to find the cause, like homeopathy and Oriental medicine goes for the cause. Ayurvedic, Indian medicine goes for the cause. What's causing this? Where is the mental, emotional factor? Louise Hay wrote a book, You Can Heal Your Life. Are you familiar with Louise Hay? Louise Hay, Hay. She passed a few years ago, but she wrote a great book, You Can Heal Your Life. And she gave symptoms of disease, and next to it was the probable cause, and next to that was an affirmation of what you say regularly. And you can use this during your meditation. An affirmation that, for psoriatic arthritis, you can take her affirmations and use that in your daily practice. People of your age who have symptoms already from standard American diet and eating right along with your peers, being influenced by your peers, it can be tough to make that change. You can do that, and achieve so many benefits.
Totally. I was just gonna ask, do you have any other like home remedies or things that you can do just with your person to like do like a kind of just check in like with your own energy?
Experience in sitting meditation over all these years, I keep a pretty happy attitude. I don't know if I brought it. I have a sheet that is positive feelings, fulfilled feelings, and negative and unfulfilled feelings. There's a list of words and feelings, and the fulfilled feelings are above the line, the unfulfilled feelings are below the line. And you would know the unfulfilled feelings like fear and anxiety and hate and anger and sadness. They don't serve you. So what I personally did was focused on the fulfilled feelings of love, gratitude, compassion, joy, light, and that made all the difference. Norman Vincent Peale was a preacher that preached positive mental attitude. So I do too. I give a 1 hour talk, 6 steps to super immunity, and the first step is positive attitude. Be positive. Anything after positive just doesn't work for people. So you got to be positive.
It's the first step.
You got to have hope and be positive. Even if you're surrounded by darkness, dark people. And one other thing I wanted to mention was that, excuse me while I look for my props. Attitude. Look at this. And look at this. I have the very paper I was talking about.
Yeah, we'll do a zoom in.
Above the line. Here's where you want to live your life, Zoe. And that's an extra sheet. It's yours. Above
These
the
are
line.
great words. Yeah.
Above the line. Give us a couple.
Merry, euphoric, stimulated, restored, rejuvenated.
These are gifts you can give yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of choice.
Yeah.
Earl Nightingale
Choice.
had a radio show when I was growing up, and he said it was a little 15-minute radio show. This was amazing, Zoe. He was talking about the greatest secret. I have the greatest secret, and he talked for 15 minutes about this great secret he was talking about, and then the show ended, and I had to wait till next week to hear the next. He says, "Tune in next week. I'll give you." I had to wait a whole week. Gee whiz! If that's so great, I gotta have it. So, finally, toward the end of that show, he had a lot of jabber about greatness, and he says, simply, we become what we think about most. So the more you think about these love and gratitude and joy and peace and love and compassion, that's who you become. So virtually, you're looking at a community guy. I taught at Hillsborough Community College. I support for 33 years the Sweetwater Organic Community Farm. I support a WMNF 88.5 community radio, WMNF.org if you like. And I just started a group, a chat group, a social chat circle, because I felt like I felt kind of separated and away from people. So we've had our fourth meeting. Our topic of discussion was the World Cup soccer, big on everybody's mind these days. And but we will have a hiatus on the 4th of July weekend and meet up again every Sunday, 1 o'clock to 2:30. And that's at 949 East Bloomingdale Avenue in Brandon, Florida, 33511. So if you're interested, show up. Responsibility.
Yeah.
Responsibility is the key. You've got to be committed to help yourself. And you can start with love. Loving yourself is critically important. Look in the mirror and say, I love you. and may crack you up a bit. You don't do that usually, but get in the habit of it. You deserve love. You're here for love and laughter and joy. And let me share Gladys McGarry, the mother of alternative medicine. She passed away last year. Gladys McGarry died at 103 years old. Very clear-minded, right to the end. And she teaches the 5 L's. 5 L's. Love, or life. Life comes first. Love. Laughter with love. Labor with love. Make your work play. Not the 4-letter word P-L-A-Y. And last, labor with love and listen. Do more listening than talking. You learn a lot more that way.
That is very true.
With love.
Yeah.
You're a good listener, Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe
Try.
the
You're very
Zoomer,
easy
Joel
to-
the Boomer.
You're very easy to listen to.
Wow, this is fun.
Yes, this is a great one. So hopefully Joel will be back and we will talk more. I'm sure you have so much to learn about. There's so much to this, and just healthy living is so important in lifestyle for everyone. Everyone can benefit from living a long, healthy, and happy life. Joel just celebrated his 80th birthday.
80,
80th birthday! So happy birthday!
Yeah, this is my birthday gift from my children. 1946, age to perfection.
Mm-hmm. Age to perfection.
And see, my lifestyle, I think, helps
That's-
keep my hair in my head.
That's proof right there
and,
for sure.
and keep it dark and not white.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I got an 80 trivia book.
Aw.
The 80th birthday trivia challenge.
Yeah. Well, I think you're just a walking testimony of what living in a healthy, way really can be. You're sharp as a pencil and you've got your hair to prove it. So if this isn't a sign to, listen to, everything you're saying and take everything, again, it is, it's everyone's responsibility, but I think it's very powerful to continue spreading this message, and I know a lot of people are going to benefit from listening to this, which is why I wanted to have someone like him on to share.
You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just whatever stage of life you are, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be determined to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to want to love yourself, and be patient with the results, because nature heals slowly,
Mm-hmm.
but nature heals best.
Mm-hmm.
So give use nature as your partner, and not the magic pill for every ill.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Invite me back, Zoe. I'll be back.
Yes, I will. Have a good night. Bye. Oh, yay!